The conflict between Israel and Iran.
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 The war between Israel and Iran intensified through the weekend.
President Donald Trump has said that Iran is losing this war. He has urged the two nations to start peace talks immediately.
This is now the fourth day of the fighting, and it's sounding unlikely that the White House will attempt any kind of diplomatic intervention.
Something very worrying is happening in Gulf of Oman, just outside Strait of Hormuz. According to NASA, 3 fires are being detected in 3 different oil tankers in the Gulf of Oman. The reason this is worrying is because there are only 2 ways the United States gets involved in this war between Israel and Iran. One of them is, of course, if US citizens or US soldiers are directly attacked by Iran or Iranian proxies. President Trump has made this abundantly clear to Iran and their leadership. Hell will break loose if Iran attacks US bases. But the second way US gets involved in this war is, of course, oil. You see, here is Strait of Hormuz. It's right next to Iran, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, and a lot of other Gulf nations. But it's a very important choke point in the world of shipping. Roughly 20% of world's oil every single day passes through this narrow choke point that's only 20 miles wide. Now, in the past, Iran has always threatened to blockade this strait if the United States does not give in to Iranian demands, or if the US puts too much pressure on the Iranian regime. But so far, it has been all talk, at least relating to recent events. But now, we are looking at 3 tankers on fire in Gulf of Oman, hours after President Trump leaves Canada, leaves the G7 summit to make an emergency trip to the White House. Now, as of recording this on Monday night, we don't know for sure what exactly happened, what prompted President Trump to cut his G7 trip short. But things are looking not good, especially when these images came out. You see, back in 2019, Iran did something similar. You see, during his first term, President Trump implemented something called the Maximum Pressure Campaign on Iran. This involved withdrawing from the Iran nuclear deal and reimposing heavy sanctions on Iran to make sure the Iranian regime doesn't move forward towards nuclear weapons. Well, guess what Iran did when this all was happening? They attacked 2 merchant vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. Now, publicly, Iran denied any involvement, but the US government had undeniable video evidence of IRGC patrol boats removing an unexploded mine from one of the vessels. Even other countries in the region and around the world, like Saudi Arabia, the UK, and Israel, agreed with the US evidence. It was Iran who was behind this attack. And now it seems something similar is happening in the same location. This could be the reason why President Trump flew back in such a hurry from Canada from the G7 summit. Now, before we get into more details, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button down below. It really does help us out. We're trying to hit 2 million subscribers before the end of the year, so please hit the subscribe button. Now, this is another thing I want to show you guys. This was in the evening in Canada at the G7 summit, and this is what Trump said. This is when Trump was publicly saying that he has to go back to US, go to the White House because something big is coming. So let's play this clip.
President, any statement on why you're leaving the G7 early for Washington?
Well, I have to be back. Very important. I want to just thank our great host. He did a fantastic job. Thank you.
How do you evacuate 10 million people? They don't know how long they have. We don't know what's coming. Definitely worrisome sign for Iranian citizens. And I truly do feel bad for them, because a lot of Iranian citizens don't actually support the regime. You know, they just don't want to rise up right now, because it is a very scary thing to do, because the regime also has a lot of supporters. So you're literally risking your life.
Canada, but you probably see what I see, and I have to be back as soon as I can. We're going to have dinner with these wonderful leaders, and then I get on the plane. I have to be back early for obvious reasons. I loved it. I tell you, I loved it. And I think we got a lot done, really a lot done. In fact, UK, we signed a big trade deal today, and we're working on others, but we had just a really great relationship with everybody, and it's really nice. I wish I could stay for tomorrow, but that they understand. This is
there a reason,
big.
Mr.
This is
President,
big
you
stuff.
can't do your business
Do you have
from
questions
here?
for anybody else?
I heard Trump's comments in the morning, and I figured Israel and Iran will keep just going back and forth, and which they were already. But I didn't know U.S. may get involved. So definitely big news happened in just last few hours. Now, this is the image of Tehran. As you guys can see, another shocking part, when Trump's tweet came out, this tweet about evacuating Tehran, it was nighttime in Iran. A lot of people were sleeping. So definitely, we don't know if they're going to get the news that they have to leave. But even if they wanted to leave, it's not an easy thing to do. Lines and lines of cars for miles on. Here's the clip. Shocking. Look, you can see how many people, and all one-sided. People are trying to leave. They're trying to go to like the eastern city or northern cities where not a lot of RGC equipment and bases are, or RGC's people, and they know they will be safe there because Israel is targeting the military stuff. Now, another comment Trump made, and this kind of relates to something Netanyahu said this morning. Now, Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel has been going on a media tour. I guess I wouldn't call it a media tour. He went to Fox News yesterday. He went to ABC today. And he has been kind of pushing to U.S. to help out in the operations against Iran. And the reason Israel really needs the U.S. help is because their goal is simple. They want to make sure Iran doesn't have an ability to continue their nuclear program after this whole thing is over. And the only way they can make sure is by destroying every single nuclear facilities Iran has, and also taking out the scientists that are working on this nuclear facility. So they don't have any knowledge and they don't have any material left over. So this is the map, as you guys can see. So Israel has already hit this facility, Isfahan, or I'm probably saying that wrong, but you guys see it, and the Natanz. These two facilities are pretty much done for. But one of the biggest facility they have is Fordo right here, and it's almost 300 feet under the ground, and it's surrounded by mountains. Very hard for Israel to target, especially considering Israel doesn't have bunker busters, but US does. We have the B-2s, we have those heavy bunker busters that can go inside this facility and destroy it. And that's exactly why Israel wants US to help out, because if they don't achieve the goal they have set out from the beginning, then it's all going to be for nothing. If they leave Iran with just one nuclear facility, well, Iran can back up and just restart its nuclear program right after this. Iran has simple foreign policy. It's just two phrases: death to America, death to Israel. And Netanyahu is making a good point, I would say, where he's like, US should help out where they can, because it's not just Israel that Iran is going after, it's also the United States. So this is what Trump tweeted just a few hours ago. America first means many great things, including the fact that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Make America great again. Now, another thing is the Republican Party, and for all the people who are joining in from outside, that's the Trump's party. We're kind of seeing a split in the Republican Party where some people don't want US to get involved in any way possible. They just don't want US to get involved at all. Doesn't matter how much we're risking, doesn't matter what the upside is, you know? And then there are some people who are behind President Trump who want US to get involved if it's needed, and if it's needed to make sure Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon. That's definitely not good for the midterms, but midterms are still far away. So this is the interview President Netanyahu did today, and it seemed like he was making the point directly to the American citizens, because he knows for US to get involved, the US public has to get behind President Trump. So this is why, I'm guessing, this is my speculation, this is why he's doing the media tour. He went on Fox News yesterday, he's on ABC today. Two of the biggest news broadcasters in the United States.
It's Tel Aviv, tomorrow it's New York. I understand America first. I don't understand America dead. That's what these people want. They chant death to America. So we're doing something that is in the service of mankind, of humanity, and it's a battle of good against evil. America should and does stand with the good. That's what President Trump is doing, and I deeply appreciate his support.
John Carl joins me now. So, John, what else did he say about President Trump and how he wants the U.S. to play a role here, or did he?
Well, look, he praised President Trump over and over again in this interview. He knows that he needs the United States support, at least in terms of doing what the U.S. is doing now, which is helping Israel defend itself from those retaliatory attacks from Iran. So it was all couched in a thank you, President Trump. You've been Israel's best friend, but he made it clear that he would like to see more. He didn't come out and directly say it in those ways, but what you heard, what you played right there, I understand America first. I don't understand America dead. He is really speaking to those in the Trump movement, those in the MAGA movement who are adamantly opposed to the United States getting involved in another Middle East conflict. And as you know, Kira, there are some prominent voices, supporters, outside advisors of Donald Trump who are saying, don't get involved. The United States can't be involved. You campaigned against forever wars. People like Tucker Carlson, Steve Bannon, Charlie Kirk. Those are, close supporters of Donald Trump who are saying that they don't think the United States should be involved in this. And Netanyahu, it seemed to me, by using their language, I understand America first, I don't understand America dead, was speaking directly to Donald Trump and to his supporters who are critical of what Israel is doing.
It's been another difficult 24 hours for Israel. Just about 30 minutes ago, air raid sirens were sounding across the city of Tel Aviv, sending nearly 1 million people.
Now, a couple of things I do want to point out here. Over the last 3 days, the amount of missiles Iran is sending in every consecutive waves is going down. The first wave was around, 100 missiles. And the most recent wave that happened roughly 2 hours ago was only 10, 15 missiles. So amount of ballistic missiles they're sending has gone down. You can read it many different ways. One way you can read it is they're just running out of ballistic missiles, but a lot of expert accounts, people who know the Iranian military, they say Iran has used up roughly 10-20% of their missile stockpile. But the second thing that we kind of have to pay attention to is the quality of the missile has gone up. The Iron Dome, the Arrow 3, the David Sling, all the air defenses Israel has, well, some of them are still getting through and they're hitting important targets. Just last night, they have had, as we talked about, one of the largest oil refinery in Israel was attacked with 2, maybe 3 ballistic missiles. And that's definitely a big escalation because so far, Israel has attacked 1 oil assets in Iran, but it was just a 1 small missile on some infrastructure on an oil refinery. It was more of a message. And the message Israel was trying to send is if Iran keeps attacking population centers in Israel, then Israel will start attacking the wallet of Iran, basically. The whole economy is dependent on the oil they have, the oil they export to China and to some other countries. Mostly it goes to China, 80% almost. So that was the message Israel was trying to send, and Iran hit back by just pretty much attacking directly with multiple missiles that got through the air defense in the Israeli city of Haifa, attacking the largest oil refinery in Haifa. Definitely a huge escalation. That's not even considering whatever this is. We see images of oil tankers or ships on fire. We don't know whose ships those are. This news just came out an hour ago, but this is going to be huge if this was Iran. If this was Iran, that's going to be a big escalation that we can't even predict. I know 95% of the missiles Iran is sending are intercepted, but these are ballistic missiles. Maybe last night they're sending cruise missiles, or hypersonic missiles, not cruise missile, my mistake. Those, when they get through, they do deal a lot of damage, and that's definitely a huge deal in a democracy like Israel because people may not be happy with the government decision if they keep getting bombarded. Again, I don't know too much about the recent polls, but that's something the Israeli administration has to keep in mind.
Metropolitan area into bomb shelters. Last night, 11 people were killed as 65 Iranian ballistic missiles streamed through the skies of Israel, 5 of them impacting the ground below, 1 in the heart of Tel Aviv. We arrived just minutes after the explosion, speaking with survivors.
When the missiles arrived, we were in the staircase in the building, and the shock was so huge. I never saw even a piece of a rocket, and to see an explosion right in front of my face and my brother's face, crazy.
A ballistic missile has just slammed into a building in the center of Tel Aviv. Right now, first responders are trying to put out the flames. In the distance, you can see right now there are a variety of paramedics on the scene, police officers and soldiers. And if you come over here, you'll see part of a collapsed building. They don't know if anyone is currently inside, but they are checking right now. Israel is still striking back against Iran overnight, killing at least 1 intel chief and his deputy. The IDF tells Fox News they have taken out 1/3 of the Iranian ballistic missile launchers used to attack Israeli cities. They now have air superiority over the Iranian capital of Tehran. And tonight, a message from President Trump saying very clearly Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, calling on everyone to immediately evacuate Tehran.
we have some breaking news as we're covering it. Some positive news in terms of de-escalation. It seems Trump is pushing for a U.S. envoy to meet with Iran this next week. I think this week, because it's just Monday. What am I saying next week? It's just Monday. A lot of people are paying attention to this. Is the pizza places near White House, near Pentagon. This whole thing started with when President Obama carried out the Osama bin Laden raid. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe it started before that, but that's where I remember it from. And you could predict that something was going on just by noticing the traffic at pizza places that are near Pentagon and near White House. Well, the same pattern held when we carried out attacks on Houthis just a few months ago. The same thing held. You can see there was more than usual activity at the pizza place when the Israeli attack started a few days ago, and the same thing was happening tonight. As of 9 p.m. Eastern, both Domino locations near the Pentagon were seeing a huge surge. You can see the gray part is the usual traffic and more than double traffic than usual. That's what people assume. Now, the second thing, I saw some people talk about this in the chat. How is China involved? Well, 90%, maybe 80% of Iranian oil goes to China. China is going to have a minor energy crisis if the Iranian oil is taken off the market. How can that oil get taken off the market? Well, if Iran attacks Strait of Hormuz, this is like cutting the branch you're sitting on, basically, because the Iranian economy is also dependent on the strait. They also use this chokehold to ship their own oil to China. So if they shut this off, they're going to have a hard time shipping their own oil too. And that's going to be a problem for Iran and for China. On top of that, it seems China knew something was coming because China also sent a message to its own citizens today to leave Israel. On top of that, first time ever since this whole thing started, the Chinese state media has been broadcasting live from Israel. It's almost like they were expecting something was about to happen. And here's a very good China analyst. We follow her a lot. She's one of the favorites of the channel. And this is her covering 2 suspicious aircraft that were supposed to go somewhere else. They went to the border near Iran and they turned off their transponder. They basically turned off their tracking signal and they probably landed in Iran. What was China sending? Could it be military supplies? It's anyone's guess, but it seems like China is the only ally Iran has that's actually willing to help Iran right now. Russia is nowhere to be found. All Russia is doing is putting out statements. And remember, Iran has been tremendously helpful for Russia in this invasion that Putin started. Iran supplies them with Shahed drones. Those drones are very, very valuable for Russia. Iran supplies them with some missiles too. And just at the start of this year, they signed a strategic partnership that's supposed to guarantee each other's security. It's easy to sign things like these, and it's harder to actually deliver when the time comes. Russia is not delivering anything at all, but China is actually helping out. This is what's the news.
2 Chinese aircraft landed in Iran under total radio silence. Chinese cargo aircrafts just vanished off radar before entering Iran. Its transponder was turned off midair right before entering Iranian airspace. Analysts suspect a covert mission, possibly military cargo or air defense systems. These planes may have been carrying military supplies like drones or radar parts, but there's no proof and no official
No point for drones. And again, a lot of tech people, including Elon Musk, this is a separate point, a tangent point, but I do want to make it. They were shitting on the F-35 program. Well, look at what F-35 is doing in Iran right now. It's undetectable to the Russian air defenses that Iran has. They have some of the highest grade, the most modern air defenses that Russia produces. And F-35s, they went in last year, destroyed the air defenses, and came out with no casualties, no damage at all. So it's good. We definitely want to learn from the Russia-Ukraine war. We have to realize that drones are going to become a very important part of modern wars, but that doesn't mean that all the big aircrafts, all the jets are going to be useless. We cannot just shut down these programs when we have one of the most advanced jets in the world. It's expensive, but it's the best. Just like the THAAD, how the THAAD system is doing so much work to protect Israel against the ballistic missiles. Well, each system costs $800 million, but it's very, very successful, quite possibly the best air defense there is out there. It's expensive, but it works. That's the point. All right, now we'll get to the breaking news in just a second. This is the same news, 2 giant cargo aircraft. What makes this whole news more suspicious is the fact that right as they were about to enter the Iranian airspace, right here. So here's China, you guys can see on the map. the planes flew somewhere, I don't know the exact route, but when they got into Turkmenistan, they turned off the tracking signal. They didn't want people to find out that China was sending something, and that's what makes it more suspicious. Why are they trying to hide it? Now let's get into the breaking news. Alright, so this is the big one, and I just got this, so I'm reading it with you guys. According to Axios, the White House is discussing with Iran the possibility of a meeting this week between U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, and the Iranian Foreign Minister, Abbas, whatever that last name is, with discussions to include a diplomatic initiative involving nuclear deal and an end to the war between Israel and Iran. The meeting has not been finalized yet, but officials describe it as make or break moment for the question of whether US will join the war against Iran, with negotiators likely to use bunker busters needed to destroy Iran's underground uranium facility at Fordow, which US and Israel does not. Okay, US doesn't have it, Israel has it, the bunker busters. I don't know what I was reading. But basically, the news is US is trying to use it. At least from my point of view, it seems like US is trying to use this surprise meeting as leverage to get a meeting. But then again, maybe that's not the case, because we have seen some news about Iran asking US to mediate peace. Now, it's Israel who really doesn't want there to be talks, because look at this from Israel's point of view. They have open skies. Iran cannot do anything to their jets. So they would rather destroy everything than let Iran make a deal and then back out of the deal later when they are stronger. You get what I mean? So from Israel's point of view, maybe Israel may not agree to the US and Iran meeting with something. Let's see, we'll find out. Trump asked his VP Vance and Middle East envoy to offer meeting with the Iranians this week. By the way, it is morning time now in Israel and Iran. Let's see, what time is it? 7 a.m. What time is it in Israel? 6 a.m. So pretty close to each other. It is morning time. Usually the attacks slow down in the morning. I don't know why. I asked you guys a couple of days ago, but usually attacks do slow down.